So now to the big news from late last night. Joining us now from South Bend, Indiana, MSNBC correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. I guess they're going to have to change the sign behind you, Vaughn.
I don't know. I think that they could afford to leave it up for a while around these parts in this town of 100,000 where, look, I mean, it was just 1 year ago, the four of these individuals, including Pete Buttigieg and his husband Chasten, left South Bend to drive to Iowa for their first campaign event. You know, here in Indiana, South Bend is the fourth biggest city. And over the course of the year, they built up a campaign operation that ultimately led them to an Iowa caucus victory in nearly the opportunity to compete beyond Super Tuesday in a real shot to win the Democratic nomination. Pete Buttigieg suspended his campaign yesterday, but then returned here to South Bend last night to give a speech here to his locals back home. Take a listen.
After a year of going everywhere, meeting everyone, defying every expectation, seeking every vote, the truth is that the path has narrowed to a close. We have a responsibility to consider the effect of remaining in this race any further. Our goal has always been to help unify Americans to defeat Donald Trump and to win the era for our values. So tonight, I am making the difficult decision to suspend my campaign for the presidency. I will no longer seek to be the 2020 Democratic nominee for president, but I will do everything in my power to ensure that we have a new Democratic president come January.
I talked to multiple campaign officials last night after Buttigieg's announcement, and they told me that he exited this race for the same reason that he got in. He wanted to bring the party together and usher in a new era of politics. And the reality is that they saw what one campaign official told me was, quote, a very, very, very narrow path to winning the nomination. Yesterday morning, he actually flew to Plains, Georgia, with his husband, Chasten, to meet up with former Vice President Jimmy Carter. And from there, he headed to Selma, joining Reverend Sharpton there, crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge. For this campaign, they acknowledged that they did not get the support of communities of color that they hoped to garner. But, to note, this was an individual who visited South Carolina, held more events than anybody besides Tom Steyer. He spoke in recent months about humility, understanding the need to earn trust, to earn credibility. Of course, you see that the two individuals leading the delegate count right now, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, they've been around a bit longer than the 38-year-old mayor. For this campaign, they told me it wasn't a matter of campaign cash. They had the ability to go on. They were going to have their best fundraising quarter to date. But I go back to a conversation I had with Mayor Buttigieg the morning of the Nevada primary, and he told me that this party could wake up on March 4th, this upcoming Wednesday, the day after Super Tuesday, with the reality that Bernie Sanders would have an insurmountable delegate lead. His campaign talked to me about the need to winnow this field, to have somebody to truly counter Bernie Sanders. Of course, coming out of Iowa and then New Hampshire, they hoped that that was them. But the stakes became too hard for them, and they have turned. We should note that last night that Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg exchanged voicemail calls, and Buttigieg aide confirmed to me the contents of those calls included the idea of consolidating support around the former vice president. Joe and Mika?
All right. Vaughn Hilliard, thank you so much. And Joe, I wonder what your thoughts are here. This seems to me like in so many ways such an A-plus campaign. He did everything right.
Yeah, he really did. He exceeded all expectations.
Absolutely.
He drove his opponents crazy because he was young. Many believe he was inexperienced. But he was extraordinarily effective.
The debates?
Wow. Reverend Al, let me bring you in here. I've spent the past 25 years politely telling presidential candidates who needed to drop out of the race to protect their future viability to drop out, and rarely did they listen. I would not presume to talk to Mayor Pete about that, but he made a wise decision. He ran a great campaign, made a wise decision. And, George Washington won the war because he first became a master of strategic retreats during the Revolutionary War. It's the same with politics. This was a strategic retreat for Mayor Pete, who ran a great campaign, but still has to figure out when he runs again how to get support from the black community.
Certainly that becomes a challenge later in his career, but the good news for him is there will most likely be a later in his career. I think he startled everyone with how well he came off. It was a historic race because he was able to bring in the center of mainstream politics an openly LGBTQ candidate, and America embraced it. Democrats embraced it. So he certainly has put a mark in history. And I think he didn't spoil it by staying too long. One of the things the Godfather Soul James Brown taught me is when you get the crowd, you kill them and leave. You can sing past your peak. If you don't know when to walk off the stage, you can make a great show or a very bad disaster.
Yep.
Sinatra said, Mika, and I know you know this.
Yeah,
Sinatra, when they asked Sinatra what made him different than other singers, why he was the greatest, he said, because I do the 48 best minutes, and then I get off the stage.
Well,
I always leave them wanting more. Well, Mayor Pete did a Sinatra routine last night.
So, Steve Kornacki, thank you so much. Great weekend.
Thank you,
working
Steve.
so
Thanks.
hard. Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.